Do you know how a lover of God feels? His attitude is, O God, Thou art the master and I am thy servant. Thou art the mother and I am thy child. Or again, Thou art my father and mother. Thou art the whole and I am a part. He does not like to say, I am Brahman. Attitude of yogis. The yogi seeks to realize the Paramatma, the Supreme Soul. His ideal is the union of the embodied soul and the Supreme Soul. He withdraws his mind from sense objects and tries to concentrate it on the Paramatma. Therefore, during the first stage of his spiritual discipline, he retires into solitude and with undivided attention practices meditation in a fixed posture. But the reality is one and the same. The difference is only in name. He who is Brahman is verily Atma, and again he is the Bhagwan. He is Brahman to the followers of the path of knowledge, Paramatma to the yogis, and Bhagwan to the lovers of God. The steamer had been going towards Calcutta, but the passengers, with their eyes fixed on the master and their ears given to his nectar-like words, were oblivious of its motion. Dakshineshwar with its temples and gardens was left behind. The paddles of the boat churned the waters of the Ganges with a murmuring sound, but the devotees were indifferent to all this. Spellbound, they looked on a great yogi, his face lighted with a divine smile, his countenance radiating love, his eyes sparkling with joy, a man who had renounced all for God and who knew nothing but God. Unceasing words of wisdom flowed from his lips. Reasoning of Jnanis, Master. The Jnanis who adhere to the non-dualistic philosophy of Vedanta say that the acts of creation, preservation and destruction, the universe itself and all its living beings are the manifestations of Shakti, the divine power. If you reason it out, you will realize that all these are as illusory as a dream. Brahman alone is the reality and all else is unreal. Even this very Shakti is unsubstantial like a dream. But though you reason all your life, unless you are established in Samadhi, you cannot go beyond the jurisdiction of Shakti. Even when you say, I am meditating or I am contemplating, still you are moving in the realm of Shakti within its power. Identity of Brahman and Shakti. Thus Brahman and Shakti are identical. If you accept the one, you must accept the other. It is like fire and its power to burn. If you see the fire, you must recognize its power to burn also. You cannot think of fire without its power to burn, nor can you think of the power to burn without fire. You cannot conceive of the sun's rays without the sun, nor can you conceive of the sun without its rays. What is milk like? Oh, you say, it is something white. You cannot think of the milk without the whiteness. And again, you cannot think of the whiteness without the milk. Thus, one cannot think of Brahman without Shakti, or of Shakti without Brahman. One cannot think of the Absolute without the relative, or of the relative without the Absolute. The primordial power is ever at play. She is creating, preserving and destroying in play, as it were. This power is called Kali. Kali is verily Brahman and Brahman is verily Kali. It is one and the same reality. When we think of it as inactive, that is to say, not engaged in the acts of creation, preservation and destruction, then we call it Brahman. But when it engages in these activities, then we call it Kali or Shakti. The reality is one and the same. The difference is in name and its form. It is like water, called in different languages by different names such as Jal, Pani and so forth. There are 3 or 4 ghats on a lake. The Hindus who drink water at one place call it Jal, the Musalmans at another place call it Pani, and the English at a third place call it water. All 3 denote one and the same thing, the difference being in the name only. In the same way, some address the reality is Allah, some as God, some as Brahman, some as Kali, and others by such names as Rama, Jesus, Durga, Hari. Different manifestations of Kali. Keshav with a smile. Describe to us, sir, in how many ways Kali, the Divine Mother, sports in this world. Master with a smile. Oh, she plays in different ways. It is she alone who is known as Mahakali, Nitya Kali, Shamshan Kali, Raksha Kali and Shama Kali. Mahakali and Nitya Kali are mentioned in the Tantra philosophy. When there were neither the creation nor the sun, the moon, the planets and the earth, and when darkness was enveloped in darkness, then the Mother, the formless one, Mahakali, the great power, was one with Mahakal, the Absolute. Shama Kali has a somewhat tender respect and is worshipped in the Hindu households. She is the dispenser of boons and the dispeller of fear. People worship Raksha Kali, the protectress, in times of epidemic, famine, earthquake, drought, and flood. Shamshan Kali is the embodiment of the power of destruction. She resides in the cremation ground, surrounded by corpses, jackals, and terrible female spirits. From her mouth flows a stream of blood, from her neck hangs a garland of human heads, and around her waist is a girdle made of human hands. Beginning of a cycle. After the destruction of the universe, at the end of a great cycle, the Divine Mother garners the seeds for the next creation. She is like the elderly mistress of the house who has a hodgepodge pot in which she keeps different articles for household use. All laugh. Oh yes, housewives have pots like that where they keep sea foam, blue pills, small bundles of seeds of cucumber, pumpkin and gourd and so on. They take them out when they want them. In the same way, after the destruction of the universe, my Divine Mother, the embodiment of Brahman, gathers together the seeds for the next creation. After the creation, the primal power dwells in the universe itself. She brings forth this phenomenal world and then pervades it. In the Vedas, creation is likened to the spider and its web. The spider brings the web out of itself and then remains in it. God is the container of the universe and also what is contained in it. Is Kali my Divine Mother of a black complexion? She appears black because she is viewed from a distance, but when intimately known she is no longer so. The sky appears blue at a distance, but look at it close by and you will find that it has no color. The water of the ocean looks blue at a distance, but when you go near and take it in your hand, you find that it is colorless. The master became intoxicated with divine love and sang, Is Kali my mother really black? The naked one of blackest hue lights the lotus of the heart. The master continued, Bondage and liberation are both of her making. By her Maya, worldly people become entangled in woman and gold, and again through her grace they attain their liberation. She is called Savior and the remover of the bondage that binds one to the world. Divine Mother's Sport. Then the master sang the following song in his melodious voice. In the world's busy marketplace, O Shama, thou art flying kites. High up they soar on the wind of hope, held fast by Maya's string. Their frames are human skeletons, their sails of the three gunas made, but all their curious workmanship is merely for ornament. Upon the kite strings thou hast rubbed the manja paste of worldliness, so as to make each straining strand all the more sharp and strong. Out of 100,000 kites, at best, but one or two break free, and thou dost laugh and clap thy hands, O mother, watching them. On favouring winds, says Ram Prasad, the kite set loose will speedily be borne away to the infinite, across the sea of the world. The master said, The Divine Mother is always playful and sportive. This universe is her play. She is self-willed and must always have her own way. She is full of bliss. She gives freedom to one out of 100,000. A Brahmo devotee. But sir, if she likes, she can give freedom to all. Why then has she kept us bound to the world? Master, that is her will. She wants to continue playing with her created beings. In a game of hide and seek, the running about soon stops. If in the beginning all the players touch the granny, if all touch her, then how can the game go on? That displeases her. Her pleasure is in continuing the game. Therefore the poet said, Out of 100,000 kites at best, but one or two break free. And thou dost laugh and clap thy hands, O mother, watching them. Reassurance to householders. It is as if the Divine Mother said to the human mind in confidence, with a sign from her eye, Go and enjoy the world. How can one blame the mind? The mind can disentangle itself from worldliness if through her grace she makes it turn towards herself. Only then does it become devoted to the lotus feet of the Divine Mother.